Hey, welcome back, guys. I'm excited to be with you to show you how to use this debt acceleration calculator and demonstrate the example that we went through in the case study in pillar number 1. So on the left, what we have here is the current loan information. So we're going to use the same example as our case study in pillar 1. So we have an original balance of $200,000. The current balance is $200,000. So we're starting this loan right now. And the interest rate is 6%. Term is 30 years, so 360 payments, and the payment amount is $1,200. And that comes straight from our example. Now, over here, this is the results of this loan and the current finances. The payoff date would be December 2nd, 2049, 30 years from now. And the amount of interest that you'd save is 0 because we're paying this loan traditionally right now. The traditional interest that you would pay, $231,676.38 worth of interest. Okay, now down here, I'm going to skip over the line of credit for information for now. The income and expenses, our income in the example was $5,000. Our living expenses are going to be $1,800 plus the $1,200, which equals $3,000. And that's the example that we used. So we're going to have a $2,000 discretionary amount of money to utilize in the velocity banking method. Okay, so that in a nutshell is the calculator. And right now it's telling us it's going to take us 30 years to pay off this loan. We're going to pay a lot of interest. And on the bottom, you'll notice this is the calculator form or tab. Then we have a daily tab, so you can see what's happening on a daily basis. And then the amortization schedule. I'm going to click on the amortization schedule first. So if this were today and we were originating this loan right now, December 4th, 2019, it gives us what the mortgage is, the mortgage payment as a whole, and I'm rounding up to $1,200 on my example, the interest that's going to the bank, and the principal that's going towards the loan, and then the balance at the end of that month. Okay, and that's month 1, and you go on and on and on, looking at this schedule. In our example, we reduce our mortgage by $13,000. So when we take a look at this number right here, and we want to get to about $187,000, how many months does it take to get there? Well, if we go down, we can follow this. 187, I'm going to call it right about here, just under 187. So that looks like 58, so that's the 57th month right here that you've reduced the mortgage by $13,000. And look how much interest we're still paying towards the loan and how much principal is going to the loan at that point, which is nearly 5 years into the loan. Okay, so let's go back and show you how we can speed this up. In my example in pillar 1, you paid off $13,000 worth of balance in 6.5 months. Okay, so I'm going to show you how that's possible. Now, daily, what's happening when you originate this loan? Now, in this example, it originates the loan on the 1st of the month. So we open up this mortgage at $200,000. So month 1, we don't actually have a payment. Okay, and that's kind of traditional. You don't have a payment that first month. So the blue section is the mortgage information. The purple section will be our line of credit information. So the balance of the line of credit, how much interest is being charged on a daily basis, and the rate at which you're being charged. Green section is your income, and if you'll notice, it's split up into halves, so you'll be paid in the middle of the month and then also at the beginning of the month. And then your expenses are in the red. The living expenses, and then also your chunking amount is dealing with the amount that you're going to use for the velocity banking account, and I'll explain that in a minute. So as you can see, there's nothing in the chunking amount right now, and there's nothing in the line of credit amount, because we don't have anything put into those cells on the calculator. So now in our example, we used the amount of $13,000 to chunk at this loan. So we're going to do that. We're going to go click into the cell. And each of these cells have a little bit of information. If you're not sure what to put into that cell, just read the comments in the section for the description. So we're going to put $13,000 to work for us using the velocity banking method that you learned in pillar 1. And as soon as I hit enter, what you're going to want to pay attention to are the amount of years, that are reduced and the amount of interest that is saved. I'll hit enter. And just like that, my friends, you are paying off a 30-year mortgage in 6.5 years. You are saving $183,260 in interest. It's incredible. It's incredible, but what's happening on a daily basis, and I want to show you how this is possible. So if we go back up to the start of this loan, nothing changes on the mortgage. That's going to stay the same. What's changing is the line of credit balance, the daily interest, and then the chunking amount. So let's show you what's happening. So month one, day one, you buy your home, you originate the loan for $200,000. Whoop-de-doo. You go on living your day, your balance is still $200,000. And then in day four, you saw this presentation. Day four, you met our community and you learned, oh my gosh, I can pay off my loan faster, but I have to do it through this velocity banking method. So what you do is you learn the strategy and you take a $13,000 draw on day four and you put that towards your mortgage, and your mortgage drops by $13,000. But now you have a balance of $13,000 on your line of credit. And that balance is charging you a daily interest of $7.48 at 21%. And that's how it's calculated. So we'll go on through the month. Nothing's really changing because you're going to have this balance for a number of days, right? So we'll watch the balance as we go through day 6, day 7, day 8, day 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and on day 15 in the month, that's when you get paid. So you're getting paid, all that income goes to your line of credit, bringing your balance down to $10,500, and now you're being charged less interest. And that's the middle of month one. And if we keep the scenario going, go down to the end of the month, notice that we're just keeping that balance the same. Now we're at the beginning of the new month. So what's happening at the next month? Well, you got to pay your mortgage. You also get paid. And then you have your living expenses and the monthly interest that you're being charged. And then your balance goes up by a little bit because of when you add all of these expenses together and subtract the amount of income that you're putting on the line. Okay, so your balance goes up, no big deal. Now what we're going to do is we're going to follow this down to the next payday, which is the middle of the second month. So right here, you get paid, all that income goes onto your line, and now you can see you're paying less interest, $4.99, about $5. And you carry this out where you're sweeping your accounts and placing your income into your line of credit. You can see the balance right here. Watch, if you just follow this column, you're going to see the balance reduce, and then you get to the point where you're nearly paid that line of credit off, and what happens is you pay your payment, you make your mortgage payment, you get paid, you have your living expenses, your monthly interest that you were charged, and then you also take another chunking amount. So you take another draw up to that $13,000 mark, because that's our comfortable spot. You put this amount towards the mortgage, and now you've reduced your mortgage again by $11,261. Okay, you carry this out month after month after month, being disciplined. It's going to take 6.5 years to pay off this loan. Now I'm going really fast on purpose. There we go. So you will have this loan paid off, this line of credit paid off in 2,359 days, which you do the math, comes out to 6.5 years. This is powerful stuff, guys. And the fact that I can show you that on a daily basis, that's what's happening, that's what you're doing in your accounts. And all you have to do is follow that daily calculator to do exactly what it's telling you, and these are the results that will happen. Now this scenario is with $2,000 worth of cash flow. What I want to quickly share with you is a more typical scenario, somebody who doesn't have that much cash flow. So I'm going to change the expenses to $3,000. This is a more realistic scenario where somebody is making $5,000, spending $3,000, and then have a mortgage of $1,200. So they have about $800 worth of discretionary funds or cash flow. When the traditional routes, nothing's changed, but when you do the chunking amount in this scenario, you still pay the house off in 12 years, right? You still pay the house off. And devil's advocate here, let's just do $500. Do you have $5 extra $100 that you could put towards a velocity banking method? So let's put our expenses up to $3,300. You're still nearly outperforming the best loan product that any bank can offer you, a 15-year mortgage, and you don't have to have an outrageous mortgage payment. Now, here's what I've been able to help people do. I've been able to show people who are in this scenario where they got maybe $500 to $800 worth of cash flow. First off, they get into this zone where they're paying their house off in less than 15 years and saving over $100,000 worth of interest, and that's amazing. But then you start learning awesome strategies, how to earn more money through business and real estate, how to decrease the amount of taxes that are being paid, and in a result, increasing our income as well. So what I've helped people do is to recover hundreds of dollars on a monthly basis based off of the way they were paying tax and how to benefit from the tax code. So it's realistic that an individual can recover anywhere from 5 to 10 grand in a year from just optimizing their taxes and how they're paying taxes. So I'm going to cut that in half and say about $6,000. So our income would go up because this is take-home pay after tax income. So let's change that to $5,500 and watch the years and the amount saved when I do that. So now we're under 10 years when we start taking advantage and optimizing all the things that we can, saving over $150,000 worth of interest. Then you start getting real savvy and you can start tackling your expenses. Now, I'm not big on eliminating expenses necessarily because my company is all about living an abundant life. And however, there are certain things that as you go on this journey, you learn and you start to realize where your money is actually going. So it's realistic to say you use this method to pay off cars and different expenses that you don't have to have throughout your life all the time. So it's realistic to say, let's lower our expenses here by $500 as a car payment that we eliminate. And now we're down to 7 years, saving over $175,000 worth of interest. And the interest you pay is only $53,000. Now, this is powerful stuff. This is something that everybody should be doing and can do. It requires some mental endurance to know where your money's going, and consistency and discipline. You definitely need to be a disciplined budgeter. You need to be aware of where your money is and where it's going in order to do this. Now, I encourage anybody that's watching this and believes this is for them and wants some support to how to implement this, I encourage you guys, schedule that one-on-one session with the wealth architect, and we can walk you through plugging in your own numbers and give you the action steps to make this happen and what lenders to talk to. I've helped dozens of people get with the correct lenders so that they can start implementing this right away. And what I encourage you to do is just click below, download this spreadsheet. You're gonna get it in a Google form, and what you'll need to do is you're gonna have to download it into Excel, Microsoft Excel, and that the Google version gives us some trouble sometimes. So convert it to an Excel spreadsheet, and you should be good to go. Okay, if you have any questions, of course, don't hesitate. Schedule the call, and we'll help you plug your numbers in and provide some action steps and whatever goals that you have. All right, I look forward to seeing you guys in another training video to your success.